She still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Xiang Wei Li is furious.
She's upset. 100%. 100%.
Oh, happy Friday the 13th. Welcome into a brand new edition of Axe Cake Picks, episode 137, presented by Viva Tequila Seltzer. A little more on them in just a minute. But, Joe, we got game day down in Columbia, South Carolina. The Tigers are in town. Are you going to go?
I'll go in there.
Let's go. How far is the drive?
It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
not bad.
Yeah, I might not go to the game. I'll make it back to watch everything or hit like a bar. But, you know, I'm really going to be gearing up for Noche UFC. So that's why I'm going to go to the game day, see Pat McAfee and the boys, see Coach Corso put on the headgear. And I think it'll be a good game down here. But, you know, like I said, I'm going to be locked into the combat events we have going on this week.
Absolutely. Big game between LSU. I like the coach Shane Beamer, kid from Virginia Tech. Obviously, Frank Beamer's son, Virginia Tech Hokie legend as well. But yeah, it should be a crowd. Crowd in Columbia is always insane.
Bro, it's South Carolina fans, and they know how to tailgate. You know, that's going to happen. LSU, South Carolina, probably top-notch in terms of tailgating. And like I said, you know, with all the college festivities and pros and ball sports that we love to talk about, the other combat sports besides the loaded weekend that we have tonight, besides my 10 seconds left, I'm covering is LFA 192 on UFC Fight Pass. They got that contract, so they'll always be featured there. And then taking the same place, same time tomorrow as Bellator London is KSW 98. You know, I had to throw in our powerhouse Polish MMA promotion over there. A little onomatopoeia, a little alliteration for you to go along.
Now, you mentioned tailgating and the fan base being epic. Now, do they cook gator down there? You living in South Carolina, is it big like it's down in Florida?
No, it's not as big as Florida. I think you'd probably get a little more in, you know, we're still the deep South, but I think you'd probably get a little bit more. Even though we're swamp, I think you'd probably get a little more like Mississippi, you know? Like,
yes, I was looking it up. Louisiana is the state with the most gators.
Good call, man. Yeah, absolutely. And they probably have it as a delicacy there. And I've had gator here, but, you know, it's probably not on the level of what they can do, you know, the Cajun style. But it's good, man. I find it to be
a little tough, I heard.
Not really. It depends how you make it. I guess that's with anything, you know, but it kind of reminds a little bit of chicken, but it does have kind of that, you know, like fish, not strong fish, but you can tell it's not, you know, chicken altogether, but it's good, man. So
hell yeah, maybe have some gator for us, but hell yeah, I saw, you know, Shane Benamy being down there at game day right now. So good luck to the boys. Should be a crowd. I'm rooting for the Gamecocks tomorrow. But yeah, we had a great Dana White Contender Series over the week. All three winners wind up getting a UFC contract. UFC Noche, I mean, it's going to be amazing. Only 10 fights. And, Joe, they said it's a one and done, so we got to take all 10 fights in. We don't know if we'll ever get it again. Like you mentioned, we'll go across the pond. Bellator London is happening this week. Then we're going to take a little hiatus for about a month until they get back in November. And then we got Canelo, UFC going up right next to Canelo tomorrow in Las Vegas.
They ain't afraid. Mexican Independence Weekend, baby.
No, and I think he shouldn't be afraid, and I think UFC is probably going to do better, if I'm being honest. We'll see after the numbers come out, but yeah, Canelo fights in Vegas as well, and yeah, we got some news and notes, and like Joe said, BKFC towards the end of the show. But Joe, all three Dana White Contender Series finalists who wind up winning, wind up getting a contract. How did you do over the week?
Man, I went 2-1. You know, I call that a success when you don't necessarily see these fighters all too often. You got to study a little bit of film, a little bit of what their resume has to offer. And, you know, so far to this point, what are we, week 5, week 6?
Yeah.
I have a 13-10 record, and I think that's good. You know, I got to pat myself on the back for that. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself because we still got 5 more weeks to go before the last of, you know, Dana White Contender Series. But, you know, 2-1 off this with a lot of last-minute replacements. I thought it was a good event. I'm glad to see more contracts getting handed out. But like we said before, you got to get these finishes, and that's the way to get the contract secured.
100%. So yeah, you know, getting the contract finishing, and we're already halfway through it. We got 5 more weeks. We got that anticipated rematch coming in week 10 as well. But like you said, you know, for a lot of the people who don't watch the tape or who haven't really heard or seen any of these fighters, 13-10 is a pretty good record, I'll say. I'm not even trying to pump your ass a little bit, but, you know, 13-10, good record.
Pause. No, but you know what I said with getting the finish? We had that surprise in the co-main, you know. I think it took him a little too long, But the guy who fought Alex Pereira in the past, Yosri Balegri, him getting finished late didn't secure the contract. So, I mean, I guess it busts that myth a little bit for Dana White saying that you got to find a finish, because the guy with the prior fight, he wanted the split decision and he wound up getting a contract. So I don't know. I guess Dana can stumble across his own words and what he's kind of looking for, and even trips me up a little bit at times. But, you know, I like you said, sporting that 13-10 record, I'm proud of myself so far.
100%. And, you know, the only way we could go is up right now. So we will look on Sunday towards Dana White Contender Series Week 6. Hopefully no cancellation. That was the first time I've seen in a while that there was a cancellation like right as the fight was about to go on. Dana White said, he was like, you know, when you get here, shit gets real. You know, you think it's nerves, you think it's butterflies. What is it? Like, what makes a guy call out?
Yeah, Otani calling out like that. He also fought Alex Pereira in the past as well. And I had, you know, both the guys, you know, getting wins over this week and making it in, but neither did. So neither of Alex Pereira's, opponents had made it to the UFC so far. I don't know. I don't know if it was illness or maybe, you know, he had to have made weight. Maybe there was health concerns after making said weight, but I mean, we don't know, because like you said, he withdrew literally before the fight night. So it sucks to see, because we could also see the other end, Cody Steele, I think undefeated guy trying to make a name for himself. I heard him, but there's a chance we see him either at the beginning of one of these UFC pay-per-views or fight nights, or we could see him again in the Dana White Contender Series. So we'll just wait and see.
We will wait and see. And another positive week here on Axe Kick Picks. All right, kid, before we get to UFC Noche, we got a ton of picks to throw at you guys. Quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing around the golf with the boys or new flavor coconut at game day watching the Gamecocks, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. I believe here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, kid, let's get to it. Noche UFC 306, Real season, whatever you want to fucking call it. We are here. Like I said, only 10 fights. One fight starts 7:30. It's Raul Rojas Jr. I'm surprised he didn't get the main card, if I'm being honest.
Hey, you got to tune in early, kind of like the concept of UFC 300, you want to be locked in with a, barn burner that they put in with Figueiredo and Garbrandt. So, yeah, I think some of the same here with Raul Rosas looking to be a future superstar. The dude says he wants to retire by 25 as champion.
Relax.
So let's pump the brakes on that 19-year-old. You do have a lot more to prove in the UFC. And I just see here, I don't know if you can back me up. Everyone made weight. Everyone was on point.
Every fighter made weight. So it's good to see everyone was professional. No health issues this time around with Brian Ortega and Diego Lopez. So it's all good. We are official. All 10 fights are scheduled for tomorrow, and we are locked and loaded. One more sleep, kid. Why don't you take us away? 7:30 start Eastern on UFC Fight Pass.
Riyadh season presents Noche UFC 306 live at the Sphere. Man, I'm so excited. All the work that was put into those, all the money spent and everything leading into this. I think it makes for an amazing event. I think these two guys main eventing are perfect. Though not Mexican descent, I think that Mexico has fully adopted both of their fighting styles because they're both true warriors. So let's kick it off, like you said, with Chihuahuas Raul Rosas Jr. He's a huge favorite. -770. He's taking on Corlang. He's +605. And, the Chinese veteran, he's a warrior. We just said it. I think that's literally what his nickname is. Like the Mongolian warrior, if I'm mistaken. I mean, the dude is that, but he's coming in as a bigger guy. I think he has a chip on his shoulder, and you could see maybe a lot of value in him early, but man, the only time I saw Rosas come in, it was when he looked out of shape and didn't have much of a camp. And I just think that he's going to come in well prepared. I think he's coming from a good school of thought. He's probably improving on the stand-up, but he'll probably, this early in his career, go the path of least resistance. And it seems to be heavily favored that he'd go for the submission here. I saw the prop for it at -155 because at -770, I think that's worth it to bring it down there. But I'd even go further extent And I would go with a first round submission as well. I really think that he could just take him down. And I just think that there's levels. Yeah, he may be a little behind on the stand up, but when it comes to the ground, he's probably already a black belt level at an age 19. So I do find him finding submission early. Could be the first or second round if you feel like playing it safe is the best bet. Minus 155 is a good option. But a first round submission for me is what I have in my verdict prediction, which I just dropped before the show.
Joe, can we get your best? Chewy.
Yeah, chewy.
You do it much better. It's so funny because I saw the video with him and his family and his brothers and sisters and his parents, and they were trying to do it like him, but they didn't have it like my boy Rojas did. And
me and my boy God. Josh were chilling. I haven't seen him in a minute, and he was hitting it up too. I was like, what you know about your wee wee?
What you know about that? Yo, that I mean, he hit it. Like when he got the post fight, he trademarked it. He put it on t-shirts. What a fucking brilliant kid. That smart move.
Decision. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to take Raul Rojas here to win by submission, minus 150. Inside the distance, it's a safer play at minus 350. But, Raul Rojas Jr., obviously, is the big favorite here. Heavy. I do think he's a bit high, if I'm being honest, given, the youth, limited experience. However, I do think Raul Rojas Jr. to win by submission here, I think is the most likely thing to happen. His opponent, predominantly a striker, 3 submission losses on his record. And as long as Rojas, I feel like, doesn't get tagged early on, I just feel like he's going to be able to take this fight to the ground shortly after that second bell, maybe in the second or third round. But get the fight to the mat, and I think eventually he's going to tap him out. So Rojas Jr. to get the submission, minus 150. Love that play.
Yeah, I love that play, man. And I got the odds plus 180 to plus 160, depending on where you shop for the first round submission, which I'm going to lock in. I'm going to commit it as a full play. It's an official play for me. Let's move on to the next fight. Edgar Chairez, man. It comes out with that, that bandolier across his chest, man. The crowd's going to get rowdy. I'll tell you that,
Oh, yeah.
Especially after a Mexican victory by Raul Rojas Jr. I think the crowd's going to get into it early. So Chairez is a dog. He's plus 200. He's coming in against a strong Joshua Van, who's trying to make up for his last outing. He's minus 220 in the favorite. And, Chairez, he had the controversy in the last couples out with Lacerda, and he got the win. But I just think that Lacerda, he had moments of, showing his potential, but it really never got there throughout his career. And Chairez finally getting that win, I just think, kind of relieved him of, finally getting over that and moving off that rivalry and going here. But then he's going to go straight up against the wall with Josh Van. I do think that the volume is going to be a problem here. I think Chairez would have to grapple here. I don't think that's his game plan, though. I think he's going to, go out like a Mexican warrior and try to go out on a shield or take Josh Van out with a sword. But I'm going to go with Joshua Van, man. I do think that the volume is going to play a factor. I feel like he's going to want it back. Normally you see guys start streaking after a win, but on the flip, you could see a guy prove heavily off of a loss, and that's what I see here with Josh Van. So though the Mexican crowd will be in it in Las Vegas going into this fight, I see Josh Van stealing a little wind under the sails and getting a victory and taking it back on his side. So minus 220, I do have him via decision because, like I said, Chairez is tough, and if he winds up grappling a little bit, he could win a round. But Josh Van, with the volume of strikes, I think could at least edge out too. So give me him on the decision with the verdict prediction. But minus 220, it's not the worst in the world, so I could just take him straight up just to play it safe.
Joe, are you worried that my boy Charles Johnson knocked him out viciously back?
No, I think
Denver?
Charles Johnson is the inner G, my boy, and I've been talking about him for some time now, and you know that. He's been really good, especially when I keep a close eye on those flyweights, which Charles Johnson.
But if I remember correctly, you didn't back him for UFC Denver. You're high on Joshua Van.
No, and that's I did say, be careful with Charles Johnson in this spot. But yes, I went with Van, and I'm gonna keep riding him, and I'm gonna see him out because I do have high expectations for the guy.
Knockout doesn't worry you, though. You think this is a good spot for him? I'm just worried at the number. I think that knockout was him gas stepping, and it wasn't late notice, but it was a last minute replacement fight, if you remember. Yeah. And the fact he got to the third round probably showed that he was a little gassed towards it and caught that knee flush, man. Charles Johnson being the longer, taller guy, Chairez is not that in terms of his frame. So I think similar size guys, Josh Van, like I said, I think the volume will speak for itself. Yeah, I agree with your handicap, and I like Joshua Van as well, and I think the ceiling is high for him, but I just think he's a little too big of a favorite. That's what worries me. That's why I kind of laid off.
That's a fair assessment. We've seen in the past the guys that are too heavily favored wind up burning a lot of parlays.
Look at Raul Rojas Jr. against C-Rod.
Hell, look at Molly Shannon.
Oh my god!
And Dana White Contender Series, our girl Dubin
plus 900. See ya.
Hit. So let's move on to another heavy favorite, Yasmin Jauregui. Minus 425, man. Heavy favorite against Ketlin Souza, plus 400. For the women's fight this weekend, I wanted to stay away. I'm looking at Ketlin Souza, man. The press conference, she looked like mean, man. She looked angry. I mean, like just, wanting to finish Jauregui here, but I do think she's super talented, man. Jauregui, I think she just had a hiccup in her last outing, or was it the second to last outing? Before coming in as an undefeated fighter, I saw the world of her. So she lost against a Denise Gomez in 20 seconds. Anyone could get caught in any fight. And that's what I think happened there. She comes back and beats a Sam Hughes. And we know Sam Hughes to be, tough as nails. So yeah, I think Jauregui's back, man. I know she's a heavy favorite, but I'll play her straight up because it could be a finish. It could be late. It seems like if I'm taking these money lines on, I got to cook up a parlay, which I don't have, but I very well be making one live for today's show. But yeah, give me Yasmin Jauregui straight up on the money line. And now we move on to, honestly, man, I know a lot of great fights on the main card, but I think this fight is going under the radar and could possibly steal fight of the night. Manuel Torres is minus 115, and he's taking Ignacio Bahamondes at plus 110, man. I mean, we think the world of Bahamondes. The Chilean is just nasty with his strikes and unorthodox and throws spinning attacks. And Manuel Torres, I mean, he is on like not now a 4 or 5 fight first round finish streak. So, the potential for a first round finish is there. I could see this going all 3 rounds, just like I said, a war, but something tells me that Manuel Torres is sleeping under the radar. 2 guys that weren't featured in any of the embedded so far were both Esteban Ribovic and Manuel Torres. They were both focusing on Daniel Zellhuber and Ignacio Bahamondes, rightfully so. These guys have a lot of star potential, but not featuring other guys, not even giving them any camera time, any limelight at all, I think may rub them the wrong way. And I think they're going to come out for blood, especially Manuel Torres representing Mexico, coming in for Mexican Independence Day for Noche UFC. I'm taking Manuel Torres. I'm taking El Loco, baby. I think minus 115 is a good spot. Line may have moved. Correct me if I'm wrong. If Bahamondes is the favorite or if it's a pick'em, do you see any of that?
No, Manuel Torres is the favorite, minus 125, plus 120 Bahamondes.
And I see that, right. I see the odds actually being the right way because Manuel Torres has fought better competition coming off the Chris Duncan win. I think that was significant. And the way he did it, like I said, he's continued his first round finish streak. People are sleeping on him because of Bahamondes' spectacular knockouts and the ceiling that he possesses. But the ceiling's high for Manuel Torres. A win like this will propel his career very much so. Give me Manuel Torres on the money line here. I have in my verdict predictions, I possibly think he could sleep Bahamondes in the first round.
Give me Bahamondes, dog of the day. We talk about champions getting better, 30% or whatever number you want to say champions get with or get better with becoming a champion. Bahamondes is training with the champ, the welterweight champion of the world in Chicago. That whole team with Bilal and training with the Dagestanians, they are legit. I think he's getting better. He helped Bilal train for his Leon fight. The kid has, like you mentioned, the ceiling is high for him. I'm not as high as on you or as on Manuel Torres. I think there are a lot of holes in his game, and I think Bahamondes could exploit them. I actually think Bahamondes should be the favorite in this fight. I'm going to take the dog. Give me the Chilean.
Hey, man, let the best man win there. And then we move on to the next fight. Man, I don't think I have an official play for this, man. We get to see Norma Dumont. That's fun. But, Irina Aldana probably will win this one. Minus 105. I've seen her. Norma Dumont's plus 100, even money. I see people taking her on a little slight dog spot, She does have that dog in her. Don't get me wrong, But I just think Irina Aldana has a better resume. I think even though she's later in her career and age-wise, I think that she's going to have the reach advantage. I think she's had the experience advantage. I think she may fight smarter in there. So I took her with a decision victory on my verdict predictions, but I don't have an official play. Like I said, I wanted to stay away from the majority of the women's fights, but for this one, I will be shying away entirely. So no official play for I think it's the main event of the prelim card.
Yeah, it's the main event of the prelims. Give me Big Norm. Love Big Norm in
Norma
this
Dumont.
spot. Yeah, I think she's the better fighter, and we've seen a drop off of Rina Aldana the past few fights as well. So not as high. I think the line is telling you something that it's flipped from Rina Aldana being a favorite to now Norma Dumont. Money is coming on her for good reason. Give me Big Norm.
Big Norm. The delivery.
Shout out Big Gun Brian Petrie. He said that over the weekend. Called her big.
Petrie, bro.
Oh my god, it was fucking hilarious. I was in the car in New York just crying. I said, "Big Norm, it sticks."
No, it sticks. It really does, bro. I'm gonna imagine just driving on the ride home, like, hey, little
just
traffic,
listen to it.
one liner. So now we've made it to the main card of Noche UFC 306, man, at the Sphere. Man, I wonder what it's going to look like in there. I hope that the production, because they said they had 2 production trucks and they're going to try to dedicate, some of the footage, of course, to the, live, obviously to the live audience, but to the people viewing from home. They're going to have to get some immersion going on so that they can see what it's like to be, inside of that place, because it's going to be absolutely electric, breathtaking. I mean, so many adjectives to describe it. You name it, it's going to be there. But we kick it off, man, with one of the rowdier pre-fight pressers. And the two were going at it. Lazy Boy, Ronaldo Rodriguez is minus 135. He's taking Odi Osborne at plus 125. And these guys were going back and forth. Odi's asking, bring that same energy. And I do think that Lazy Boy will do that. Give me Ronaldo Rodriguez here. I think he's going to make a statement. If Dana White was talking highly of him and hoping to get him into the UFC, and we finally have, he might be one of the first sponsored UFC, Performance Institute's athletes coming out of Mexico. So that's what we're going to see here. We may see a spectacular knockout. He might get him early in the first round, but I'm going to take him straight up on the money line because it is playable. So give me Lazy Boy at minus 135.
By the way, I was watching it last night. They were really getting into it, standing up, yelling at each other. Yes, I said, sir. Okay. And I know you said, watch out for Manuel Torres and Bahamondes being the fight of the night. Hopefully this lives up to it. Them going back and forth. And when they close the octagon, hopefully they are
bring that same energy.
Exactly. By the way, we mentioned all 20 fighters made weight. Manel Fiora also made weight as the backup fighter as well for the co-main event.
Kudos to her.
Yeah, and nice little payday for her.
Yeah. Here's another good one, man. And I wonder if you're I know you didn't say you had a play before, but maybe you have one now.
I'll tell you right now, Daniel Zellhuber by I don't want to say death, but by a lot.
God.
He's going to kill Esteban.
Wow. So, that's funny you say that because we're on both sides in these two exciting fights. We talked about the Manuel Torres, Ignacio Bahamondes. Daniel Zellhuber is Mexican MMA, is golden boy, that he lives up to his nickname. He is minus 220 here against Esteban Ribovic at plus 200. And like I said, people, even in UFC and embedded are disrespecting Ribovic, man. You're taking Zellhuber here, the golden boy. I'm going to go take the dog. I'm taking Ribovic. Yeah, you go, okay, he knocked out Terrence McKinney and he lost in his other, but that was the debut. We know a lot of these fighters have jitters when they make their debut. So let's get that off the record. The fact that he got Terrence McKinney out with a taste of his own medicine, I think speaks a lot to Ribovic, and I think he's highly talented. And I think Daniel Zellhuber has shown holes in his game, as you said, Manuel Torres does as well. So I feel like Zellhuber does have a lot of potential, but he can find himself in precarious positions that Esteban Ribovic can put him in. And I do think he's live as a plus 200 dog. So give me the value here on Ribovic. It's my only dog play pretty much that I have for this weekend, and I got to stick with it. So once again, may the best man win, D-Rock.
I'll say this, and I agree with your point. My only pushback, I guess I would say, is I guess I'm not as high. I don't think that's a huge win against Terrence McKinney.
And that's fair. Yep.
What has Terrence McKinney really done?
Let's call a spade a spade and get knocked out in the first round a lot.
Exactly.
And the guys that he's beat, situation.
The guy he's beaten, are they household names? No, not really. So, it's fair. He has a big personality, big name. He's a cool guy and all, but he's you beat T-Rex. You're not really going to go up the food chain.
This is a big proving point.
100%.
At the dog spot he's in to get past Zellhuber, taking away all his hype, that will do a lot for his career. But Zellhuber may live up to it. So I like your choice in the matter. So let's make it to the feature bout. I like this fight a lot, man. T-City, Brian Ortega has made me a lot of money in the past, coming in again at a dog spot at plus 160, taking on who seems to be an absolute killer, an absolute shape, Diego Lopez, minus 160. I could speak the world of this kid, but I'm going to let you take it away. What do you have in this feature bout, D-Rock?
Yeah, Diego Lopez minus 174 is going to be the play for me. Diego Lopez, he's definitely going to face his toughest challenge to date with Brian Ortega, but I just think he matches up extremely well with him. Where Ortega is good, I believe Diego Lopez is better. Ortega, he's as tough as they come, and obviously has the elite jiu-jitsu, and it's
Younger,
put away.
faster, stronger.
It's put away most of his opponents as well, but Lopez is his international jiu-jitsu champion. Let's not forget that. On the feet, Ortega might be the cleaner striker, but the power, the speed, the accuracy, I think it belongs to Lopez, and I think that's where the difference is going to be in this fight. Ortega has been rocked quite a bit in his last few fights, and I just think if he gets caught by Lopez, I'm just not overly confident he's going to be able to get up and make a return. So I like Lopez here. I think he's the future. I think after this win, he's one win away from a title fight. And come 2025, we might have a new champion.
Brother, I would go even a step further. I feel like a win after Brian Ortega. I think this is a title eliminator fight. I think if Brian Ortega finds out a way to win, I think he gets a title shot. And if Diego Lopez wins this fight, I think he gets a title shot. So the winner of this fight, I do think gets it. I think that may be a surprise to a lot of you, but that's what I'm going with. And like I said, Brian Ortega has maybe a lot of money in the past in dog spots. And so I was very tempted in taking him here. I don't agree with what you said in terms of the stand-up. I don't think Ortega will be the cleaner striker at all. I think Lopez also not only has the speed and power advantage, I think he does have the technical prowess as well on the feet. When it hits the mat, though, that's where Ortega shines. He'll find a submission off his back and even on top and sweep you and throw all types of submissions up that you haven't seen before because he's that skillful and that triangle is legendary. That's where Diego Lopez, if he finds comfortability and maybe taking him down, he may fall into some trouble. I don't see that, though. I'm concerned that Ortega doesn't even make it out of the first. He very well may take a lot of damage in the first and get finished in the second. I think the world of Diego Lopez. I faded him once before, and I learned my lesson there. I am not fading this dude. I do see a title shot next after a massive win against T-City Brian Ortega, and I'm thinking a second-round knockout. I don't think Brian Ortega makes it past that round.
You think they skip over Volkanovski?
Absolutely.
How? Why?
Why not?
I mean, he's done everything for the promotion.
Why
he's
not
a champion.
Move
he's
him
a
up to
Hall of
155?
Famer. Because I don't think he wants to do 155 after getting decimated by the champ. He wants to stay down.
I agree,
there.
and I agree that there's pause for that. But unfortunately,
I don't think they do.
We love him. They may move on. They may move on. It may
just like what they did for Izzy, take a year off or 10, 11 months, whatever you want to call it.
It's funny you say that, and I agree where you're coming from, but I would say that Kamaru Usman has a bigger shot of getting a title before even Alex Volkanovski.
I agree with that as well. I said that last pod. I think that's a bigger fight as well.
I don't remember that. My bad for missing that.
Just like how I think that the Volkanovski fight will be a bigger fight as well if it's him or Diego Lopez. I think the winner of Poirier and Max Holloway is going to fight Volkanovski next.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, man. I could see that coming. Diego could be waiting in wings if he gets a victory. So can T-City. So can T-City. We'll see. But I think a lot of this fight, I think it's going to be a great one. And now we made it to the co-main event, man. Alexa Grasso, she looked great on the scales, man. Do you see her, bro? She looked honestly jacked, dude, ready to go. Minus 125 is the favorite, taking on the Bullet, Valentina Shevchenko, at plus 120. And, man, as much as I have a crush on Alexa Grasso, I'm taking a dog. I'm taking a Bullet Shevchenko here. I know 37 years of age. I just think that the back and forth is going to happen again, man. I really think that, unfortunately, for Manny Fierro weighing in as the backup, she's going to have to wait and probably have to take another match, as we talked about so many times in the past. So if Valentina Shevchenko gets a win, it continues their rivalry and we get a fourth fight and hopefully the last. If we get to 4 fights, that should be the deciding factor there. But if Alexa Grasso wins, she closes the storybook and that's that. And she becomes the undisputed 125-pound champion for the women's division. And I see that possible as well, but I just see value in the dog. It being such a close fight, closely contested. The only thing that hurts me or concerns me is the age factor, but Shevchenko's look good, and I think she could turn back the clock in this one and make a 4th fight out of it. And then in the 4th fight, I may have a different side, but till then, give me Shevchenko.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over 4.5 rounds here at minus 200.
I do see a decision fight.
In the first fight, obviously, Valentina was coasting. She was up on the scorecards, and then she threw that stupid fucking spinning back that resulted in obviously Grasso taking her back, locking up the choke and getting the win. In the second fight, though, Valentina was up again on the scorecards until she got caught giving that 10-8 round, and that ultimately led to a split draw. I just can't imagine Valentina making a same mistake of that nature. She's too smart. She's
Too
too
fight IQ,
effective. I think we're going to see a more measured approach from Valentina as well. We know Grasa, she has the power. So look for her, the early takedown attempt from her. But, I think this fight's going to play out more on the ground more often than not, in my opinion, which is going to call us tick, 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 going to keep the clock ticking in our favorite. So
like run the ball.
Exactly. I like the over. I think it goes to the scorecards. If you want to take the fight to go the distance, it's at -188. I took over 4.5 rounds at -190. It's kind of the same thing, I guess. But Joe.
Alexa Grasso.
No, I mean, Valentina should be 2-0 against this girl. She just made 2 stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Alexa Grasso, though. -126. I just think that
she's young, bro.
She's young. And it's not even that she's young. I just think that she has it.
That hunger
she's not even worried. People are asking her, oh, what walkout song? She goes, walkout song? I'm not worried. I'm worried about the fight.
Shevchenko's buying, and it's not to say that this is a routine of hers, but she's out there buying teas to remember the fight. Like, seems like she's already past it in a sense. But Grasso,
10 title fights in a row for Valentina.
She's already accomplished everything she's done in her career. There's not much more to accomplish for her. And that's why, even though she still be hungry, Grasso might be just that much more hungry. So I agree with your point.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Great, analysis into that fight. But you're right. I mean, Shevchenko should be 2-0. And I do see, if it does go to the judges as you think, and that's what my verdict prediction has, split decision. Either way, again. So just really, really close, competition between these two. So, and we know from the WWE and everything, it takes one superstar to build up another, and maybe another win over Shevchenko, as you took Grasso, will catapult her over the top. So she does have the most followers for all the women, fighters, active women fighters. She has the most followers. So she's the most popular women athlete actually at the moment. So, hey, we'll see what happens in that one. I think it's going to be a great fight. I'm very interested to see what happens there. But D-Rock, we've made it. All this anticipation leading up to the main event of UFC 306. And it's Sean O'Malley, man. Sugar Sean is back at -120. I'm seeing a little more money coming in his way against Merab Dvalishvili at +115. And D-Rock, I'll hand it off to you, my man. Who are you taking in the main event here?
Yeah, for Merab, we know what to expect from him. I'll say this off the top. It's interesting to see the line move. He opened up the favorite. Now it's come all the way down. He had a cut on his eye, kind of blasting it. So Sean O'Malley's going to look for it. He's going to attempt to try to take it down, put a pressure on him, always push forward. However, I think he's going to need a perfect performance for a full 25 minutes to get his hand raised. Merab, he's been rocked early in round 1 in nearly every fight, except I think the Henry Cejudo fight. Then he's made a comeback. So I just believe Sean O'Malley is the opponent who's going to...
He got wobbled by Henry.
Yeah, who present Merab with an early storm that I just don't know if he could outlast for 25 minutes. I think as much as I fade him and whatnot, hold up. I got this. I still have the champ's autograph, so yes, I'm a big fan, and I know I fade him a lot, but I just think he has the fight IQ. He has underrated jiu-jitsu game to back up, obviously, his elite striking. I know early in the week I was leaning Merab, but I'm going to take the champ here to get it done. I think his length is going to be a problem for Merab. Give him space. I think he's eventually going to strike, eventually land a knockout, maybe 3rd, 4th round, but I think eventually he puts Merab away. I love my Long Island guys. I love Ray Longo. I love everyone out there, and I am rooting for him. But I like the champ, and I like money more. So I'm going to back Sean O'Malley here. I'm kind of torn, as you can tell in my
absolutely
voice.
I can hear the tone of your voice, man. And I can't blame you for that, because we do like Merab. We like all the antics he's been going up. He's a character in himself, but we met Sean down to earth, and we just seen the reach. Like, no offense, we're bigger than Merab, and Sean was bigger than us. That size is absolutely a factor. And Merab's head is like massive, bro. It's easy to get hit, dude. And this is just facts, bro. I'm not picking on the guy. It's just facts. The dude has rabies, though. We heard about this the other day. Yeah. He goes in there like a bat out of hell, Merab, and that's what he has to deny. And I think with some of the success he had against takedowns in the past, Sean could maybe take, some of that eagerness away early, take it out. And those knees are going to play a factor. If he's shooting in for takedowns, especially if they're sloppy and not entering in with a jab, man, Merab could get caught. And as you mentioned, he's gotten caught by subpar strikers in the past who are equal to his height and reach. Sean's gonna have to worry about Merab getting in close and trying to take him down, of course, but anything at range is just super deadly. And I do agree with you, man. I know you were on Merab earlier. You spoke to me and I was like, whoa, my eyes widened up. I was like, really? You're fading Sean? I'm glad you came around because I too am taking Sean O'Malley. I just see there's more ways to win. And even if he does get taken down, I feel like he can get back on his feet. I don't know how effective Merab is going to be about holding it down. If you recall, there's a reason Merab has the most takedowns in a single fight. It's because the dude keep getting up. Take him up, take him down. And that could work for the duration of the fight, yes. But will that win you? All it takes is one shot. And Sean O'Malley, we know he has the power. So if it happens early, which I do see it, Merab's gotten caught in those first rounds. I'm glad you mentioned to that point. I see that power playing a factor when he's fresh and just trying to make it an ugly fight, and it doesn't work. I got Sean O'Malley on the money line. Sean O'Malley via KO TKO at plus 190 and Sean O'Malley via first round KO TKO at plus 700. I'm taking him all the way here. I just see him getting a knockout in this spot and knocking out both of the Serra-Longo guys and just continuing on his championship run. And, for some reason, though I don't like it, maybe after another title defense, he does live up to what he's saying and getting a fight with, one of the boxing guys, Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. Like I said, I don't like his. I think they're bad matchups there. Or you're just strictly boxing and not having any other weapon at your disposal. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Like we talked about the first fight being a champion before 25 and retiring. Let's pump the brakes. Let's focus on the opponent ahead and let's have a good performance. So, yeah, I'm all in on Sean O'Malley as the main event. And that does it for UFC 306. Great season. Noche UFC.
I'll say this. I think if he goes out there and wins a 5-round decision, Sean O'Malley, I think that is extremely more beneficial and more impressive that he went and did that than a knockout that we all know.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, to withstand Merab for all those rounds, because you're getting the same Merab in the 5th as you would in the 1st.
Yeah,
we haven't seen his gas tank do anything but get better. It doesn't seem to have declined at all. And I think we have, we've seen Sean go the distance, but
Peter Yan.
But there was it 5 rounds. It was not.
No,
so
it was 3, but still, I think that's
we got to see how his gas tank, throwing the long.
Well, he did go all 5 with Cheeto.
Yeah, but he was dominating. Will a back and forth matchup mean different for his gas tank? We got to see, but he looked great in that one, and I think it'll bode well. I think this is a fantastic matchup and another interesting one, and I think a perfect one that Dana White and the boys put together. I know the commentary crew is going to be hyped. You and I are going to be hyped from home. Let's get into this weekend, man. I can't wait.
If Sean wins, is Umar next? And if Merab wins, do they just run it back?
Yes. Umar would be next. No, Umar would be next regardless.
Oh, I like that.
I like Sean as being the face of the company right now and got to ride the hot hand. But if they let him down, they move on.
And I think this is a good point, and you brought that up. People are talking about, the face of the UFC. Is it Islam?
In this current moment in time.
People talk about Islam Makhachev, DDP, Alex Pereira. I would argue it's Sean O'Malley, because you don't put a guy like this on a sphere card and not try to elevate him in your biggest card in company history.
Yes.
It's all for him to be the face of the company. Yep. Am I far off from
Not
this
at all.
kind of view?
This is all catered to him, man. It's on him, and that could actually come to hurt him.
Backfire. Yes,
all the pressure, but pressure makes diamonds, and we have seen before. He has performed in these high pressure situations.
He loves it. He loves the spotlights. I agree. It's all just stuff I was thinking and just wanted to put it out there. But
they both look ready, man. Everyone on this card looks absolutely ready, and dedicate these fights for the history of Mexican combat sports, because we're going to get those 90-minute, not 90-second, I think. It's not 90-minute. That'd be way too long. That's about the whole preliminary.
I was about to say, geez.
But yeah, the 90-second little clips and telling the story of the origins of, Mexican combat sports, and probably, across all sports, no matter what it is. And I think it's just going to make for a fantastic event. And that's why I'm saying I hope us viewers at home could get the similar experience as the ones viewing it live.
Yeah, 8 new Mexican Octagon girls for UFC Sphere as well. So that is going to be lovely for viewership reasons. Let's go across the pond. We are at Bellator London. Road to Dubai. It's the Bellator Championship Series, headlined by Leah McCourt and Sarah Collins. Now, Joe, I'll start off. I'm gonna take Leah McCourt here against Sarah Collins. You know, Collins, she's good. You know,
Undefeated.
Yeah, I guess.
Who she fought?
That's my problem. You know, Collins, judo background. She has the skill set as well. I think she's a good fighter. I just think this is a big step up in competition. It's a bit too much too soon, I think, for her. Even if she gets on top of Leah McCourt on the mat, McCourt has Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to defend herself while also fishing for her own submissions as well. So on the feet, I think Leah McCourt, she's going to have the striking advantage. Leah, she's also fought Kat Zingano, Sarah McMahon. Both of them are better, no disrespect, than Collins. So I'm going to go with Leah McCourt here to get it done. I think she's the favorite.
I like the dog spot, bro. Yeah, because here's what the MMA math would say, that the reason why Sarah Collins is the favorite is because not only is she undefeated, but they both fought Sinead O'Connor. Not O'Connor. R.I.P. Sinead O'Connor, by the way. But Sinead Kavanaugh. And Leah McCourt lost to her. Meanwhile, Sarah Collins beat her convincingly. So I guess that's what the deciding factor is in this. You know, I do MMA math all the time. And, that's what it would tell you. But it's never exact. It's never an exact science. And with that being said, I think Leah McCourt is going to be the favorite, and the reason the company wants to ride her. They want her to win this fight. They have a lot going for her. They say that she can get a fight with like Cyborg or whoever that she wants to get. And I think her game is more towards the ground than anything, but she's shown improvement on the feet. And she's a good face for the company. So I think that she has to get the win. And I think with the pressure on her, I think she'll show up. So, I mean, even money, even if you found her at even money.
Yeah, plus 102 over at DraftKings.
Yeah, I like it. I would take the Leah McCourt bet. I like where your head's at.
And she's also fighting for one of her good teammates. I forgot his last name, but he's also a mixed martial artist, Ryan, who had that awful paralyzation as well. So she's not just fighting for her and her family; she's fighting for the whole gym as well, and Ryan's family. So heavy hearts. And when people are fighting like that, you don't really want to go up against those people.
No, you don't, man. If you want, I have other ideas about the card. We started in the main event. If you want, I'll work from the co-main event down. We'll go that way this time. So, Simeon Powell is taking out Rafael Xavier. Xavier plus 380. Powell is minus 450 for a reason. The dude's a tremendous English striker. I like what I've seen from this guy. He wound up short against a Jacob Netto last time out, but Jacob Netto, he's turned out to be a beast, man. So I don't think that loss was too bad. And I think this is kind of a layup fight against Xavier. A lot of losses on his record. So got to go with Simeon Smooth Powell in that one. Luke Traynor in the feature bout is a heavy favorite. A lot of people like him, minus 550. But I'm going to take Urbona Vicious at plus 475. They fought, back to the MMA math, similar opponents, and Urbona Vicious, he got that victory via KO TKO as opposed to Traynor getting a loss. So I like the dog plus 475. Massive value in him in the feature bout. I'm going to take him in that spot. So we move on to, I think, the opening of the main card. Mark Diakese is minus 230. He's taking on Tim Wild plus 220. Tim Wild is exactly that wild. But I'm going with your boy, Diakese in the spot. Are you following suit, my boy?
Yeah, Diakese making his Bellator debut. Obviously, we know long stint with the UFC. And I think he's getting a good stylistic matchup here against Tim Wilder. Tim, good striker, but he has gotten knocked out. He just got knocked out back in March. And, Mark, I think he can match him in the striking department. Obviously, his advantage is going to be on the floor with his wrestling and ground game. But, Diakese, he showed tremendous improvements in that area. And I think he could take full control of the elements in this fight. Bearing a knockout early from Tim Wilder, I think Diakese should get this win in his debut. I think this is a good spot for him. So I know he's heavy favorite, but minus 184 is not terrible. Maybe a parlay piece, but I do think this is a good spot for him.
Yeah, I like him on the ground. I think he would have the advantage in the grappling department. And, he's explosive on the feet. So I do like that side. Bone Crusher, man, he that little two-touch spinning kick he did. He tapped the low leg and then spins around and hits you with a heel kick, bro. He's very athletic and just didn't find his footing in the UFC. But I'm sure at these ranks, after when against Tim Wild, he will certainly find his footing in Bellator. So let's go to a lot of other fights that I like. Archie Colgan, I haven't faded him yet. Undefeated dude, looks to be the future. Taking out Manuel Souza, who's coming off a great knockout win. I just think he's going to run into a hot Archie Colgan. So give me the favorite at -180 there for the featured preliminary fight. Mike Shipman's +125. Everyone likes Abdul Bassett at -145, but I haven't seen too much from the guy as opposed to Mike Shipman, who has been knocking fools out. So I'm taking a dog in the prelim spot there at +125. Taking Luciano against Stephen Hill. I don't think Hill at a dog spot has much value or of a shot against a favorite in Joseph Luciano. Kieran Clark is -200, and a lot of people like him more than they like Dara Kelly. But I think Zebinzui Ruiz, the Spaniard, I think he's live as a dog. So I'm going to take the stand-up artist, Zebinzui Ruiz, at +170. And people are fading Dara Kelly against Dmitry Hitchenko. Both guys undefeated. Dmitry Hitchenko, Ukrainian knockout guy, but I feel like he gets gassed after throwing a flurry in the first. So if that's not going to do the trick for him, Dara Kelly would catch him late, and I like him at +185. So I got two dogs in, these spots that people don't expect it, and no official play in the first fight of the evening. Al Mudaf against Silva. I'm not touching that women's fight. I stayed away from majority of women's fights, except for, like I said, the co-main event of UFC 306 and the main event of Bellator London. And I'll do it.
Joe, we are on our way to Bellator Champion Series in Abu Dhabi. That is December 31st, last day of the year. But we're taking a break until November 16th. Bellator back in Europe, in Paris, France. So crowd is going to be electric over there.
And then soon after that, we'll have the finals, right?
Yep. And that's the finals in Abu Dhabi, December 31st.
Oh, okay. Not the Champions Series Bellator
no.
final. It's the PFL final is in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, everything.
Wow.
Love it. I absolutely love it. Let's go from Vegas to London, from London to Vegas. Let's go to boxing. Canelo Alvarez. This is a tradition like none other. He always fights on Mexican Independence Day. There was a little, I think, some rumblings that he wasn't going to fight Mexican Independence Day because of the UFC being in town. Usually they respect it. They let him fight. But they said, no, we can't pass up this opportunity.
They got cojones.
Oh, my God. And he's going up against undefeated Edgar Berlanga. I mean, he's good, kid, but
yeah,
it's Canelo. What are you thinking here? Can he take his O?
Man, Edgar Berlanga, man, if you don't know, this dude is a knockout artist, American, but I'm pretty sure like Puerto Rican born. And I think he's from New York, bro. He's a New York guy,
Oh, my people.
Yeah, he's your people, man. A lot of first round knockouts until he really made it to the big time. And that's where he started going to decisions. So you see that he's capable of going to the judges. And his last fight out, he got a finish in the later rounds, which was surprising to a lot of us. So he proves that he can get a finish anytime during the fight, and he could go to the judges' scorecards. I do think he has a lot of power, and I think he may catch a lot of people by surprise when he knocks down Canelo Alvarez. This is what I think. I think Canelo Alvarez is going to, he's going to respect his opponent, but I don't think he's going to expect some of the angles that Berlanga is going to throw at him with some power. And so with that being said, I think Canelo's a little paralysis by overanalysis. Canelo may be outsmarting himself by cutting an angle a little too soon, and Berlanga catches him with a left hook and drops him on his butt. So with that being said, Canelo Alvarez getting up off of his feet is going to reassess the entirety of the fight and reassess what he was doing after that knockdown. I think he'll be able to clear the cobwebs rather easily. I mean, he's Canelo Alvarez. He's done it time and time again. And I just think that once he gets knocked down, he's going to want to give it back. And I think that in the later rounds, as opposed to Canelo getting knocked down, say the 4th or 5th round, Canelo Alvarez will knock Edward Berlanga down in, say, the 9th to 10th. And I have a bet here for that. I have both fighters to be knocked down with the answer of yes at +1800. I see value in seeing Canelo, hitting the mat, but still getting a win. Because Berlanga does have that power, but I just don't think he's seen the level of boxing against Canelo that he will. And I think that'll add up in the later rounds. So Berlanga, yes, the power that he possesses, the youth that he has, I think knockdown is in his, possibility. I just don't see a path to victory after that. I really think that Canelo will take him to school. So with that being said, I don't only have the +1800 bet for both fighters to be knocked down. I have the Sal Canelo Alvarez to be knocked down and win.
Wow.
With the answer of yes at +1800. Because like I said, I do think that, he'll return to favor. There's a chance that he could still win without, getting a knockdown. But I just see that, he's going to want to get that back. And I just see it possible. And it might not be just a one shot to the head. It might be, accumulation to the body. Maybe after a couple of liver shots, Canelo is such a pronounced body power puncher that it could be, clash of styles. Berlanga, a headhunter, which doesn't pay off in the later rounds as opposed to the body. You invest in the body, it pays off later. And so I got Canelo getting a victory here, but to get the value out of him being such a heavy favorite, you got to see that he gets knocked down and gets backed up to win. And that is as well at plus 1,800.
Yeah, obviously Canelo, huge favorite here for good reason. Everything Joey just outlined. And Edgar, he is coming off a knockout win over McCrory, which, was his first stoppage in his last 5 fights. I don't think it's been a lack of trying, as, Edgar is just, he's a headhunter and he doesn't really do too much to disguise what he wants to do offensively. He comes straight at you. He's going to walk you down and try to knock you out and hunt for your head. I just think that'll make him an easy read for Canelo eventually. You know how good of a counter puncher he is. So I don't know. I just feel like as Edgar continues to give Canelo opportunities to land those shots, they are going to connect with increasingly more ferocity, more frequency, more power. I just think at a toll, it's going to carry over to Edgar, and he's going to realize quickly how in depth he actually is. But stylistically, I don't think, he won't be able to adjust. I think Canelo's just too good with his precision. I'm going to take him to win by stoppage. I know it's chalky, minus 275, but I do think Canelo knocks him out.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. We haven't seen Berlanga in those positions, and how he's going to respond when he is more the nail than the hammer. I think we've always seen Berlanga as being the hammer and not the nail. Canelo has, he fought Floyd Mayweather. He fought Dimitri Bivol. He's been in, tough fights, guys who were bigger than him. I think Berlanga may be a little bit bigger, but it's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight in the dog. And I just see that Canelo does still have that dog. He still has that motivation to be the greatest boxer of all time. And he just wants to keep, pounding that resume, keep adding to it. And, a win over an undefeated headhunter record that Berlanga is just another, notch in the belt, another feather in the cap. And like I said, still aiming to maybe get that Bivol match back. We don't know what's going to happen with Beterbiev and him, even though it's announced, but we don't know. We got dropped out last time. So a lot to happen in the boxing world. And I'm excited to see Canelo Alvarez on this weekend because I didn't expect it. Like you said, there was a chance that we wouldn't have seen him. But, a lot of places are going to be showing both. You're going to have the UFC on one screen. You're going to have boxing on the other. I'm probably going to, once I get back from College Game Day in Columbia, I'm probably going to hit Twin Peaks down in Myrtle Beach, and they got both of those fights going on. So I don't know, a lot of places, a lot of things to do this weekend. Just everyone have fun, have a safe one. It'll be a great time.
And be responsible. Some news and notes before we get up out of here. Marcus Rogerio de Lima is out. Kennedy Njoku will now take on Justin Tafa, UFC 308, October 26th. It's a weird date. What is that date outside? You like that fight though?
Yeah. Kenny Njoku, he's going to want to get one back. And the same's happening with Tafa. But, man, I do think the Tafa brothers are a fade until further notice, man. So,
really?
Unfortunately, Kennedy Njoku, granted he got caught. I just think that he is a strong dude, and he could find a way to take it down. And that's the X factor is if he doesn't keep it standing. And he has power, but obviously the technique will go for the Tafa. But I'm going to lean Njoku. I just feel like he may have more ways to win.
Tafa brothers kind of a fade right now. I appreciate
That's all.
that.
I hate to say that because I do like them.
Yeah.
But the limited, style being like one dimensional, it definitely hurts them at heavyweight.
We were talking about Bellator today, Bellator London series. Unfortunately, former Bellator welterweight champion, Ukrainian Yaroslav Amolov, 27-1. He's announced that his contract with Bellator has ended. Quote, "The story doesn't end. It just changes direction. See you all in the octagon," with the eye emoji. Wow. Is he coming to the UFC? And if he is, enter him in a top 5 match immediately.
No.
Oh my God. You're crazy. You're crazy.
Top 5?
Top 5? Who would
Maybe
you give
top
him?
10.
Oh my God. Top 5. He is Colby Covington is number 5.
Facts.
What are we talking about?
No, that's fair. That's fair, man.
He beat Jack Della Maddalena. I wholeheartedly believe that. We don't even need to discuss.
Yeah, you're right. It's crazy because I'm looking at the top 15, and it looks like you don't want to kind of hurt any of those guys in 10 to 15. And then from 10 to 5, They kind of all have matches made.
Yeah, they all have
so
fights.
You're right. Like it would be the top 5. And you're right. The most likely one should be Colby Covington to see if he can actually make his way into the UFC ranks. Because if he fails against Colby Covington, that's a one-off for me. I think you give us Amosov one fight contract against Colby Covington. You don't win against Covington.
And they're kind of the same, similar fighting style. As well.
Yeah, probably going to be a glorified wrestling match.
Yeah, for 15 minutes. Just keep touching yourselves. But I would like to see him in the UFC. I do think he could be a contender, but he just needs to prove himself.
How cutthroat the UFC has been with taking other promotions' fighters. That's why it worried me that he's the one that's pushing.
But he's different. Champion, 27-1.
But Jason Jackson, wasn't he in the UFC at one point? Didn't fare too well to lose against Jason. Actually, no, he's reinvented himself, and he's a lot better than he was when he first started.
But he wasn't a champion going into the UFC. That's also different.
True that. Yeah, there's a lot behind
Look at Kayla Harrison.
A lot behind it, but then again, like I said, they're very cutthroat. They might not even look at it. They might even bat an eye. That might be him. They look at it like, oh, man, we really hold all the cards here, and we won't even give him a shot. That's how they've been. But, yes, they could sign him and give him a top fight.
Yeah, I just think his comment, the story doesn't end, we'll see you in the octagon, makes me
He had to have talked to someone.
They've talked to someone. I mean, he's 27-1. He's too good. So, that's all the news I had in the UFC. But boxing news, unfortunate news for our boy from Newark, Shakur Stevenson. His fight with Joe Cordera is off. It won't take place October 12th. Shakur actually had hand surgery.
You saw the post-op?
Yeah, post-op, a successful surgery. Everything went through. He explained everything to His Excellency. He apologized that he couldn't make the walk on October 12th, but he intends to go straight back to his fight in February with William Zapata. So do you like that kind of shift from Joe Cordera to William Zapata?
I don't mind it. I don't feel like we're getting too much of a drop off, but losing Secure for a while, it sucks because we wanted to see more of the kid. We feel like he should get a little more credit, and especially after making the move to Matchroom, we feel like that would have happened. But here we are on another hiatus with the kid, and I just pray for a speedy recovery and just get him back sooner than later because we want to see him. He's part of these equations for these big fights, and we need him to be healthy to get in there. So,
100%.
That's really what I see. I just see that he addressed the matter. I hate for those guys that say, you know what, I'll do it either at the end of my career or, do it at the end of my fight. You're going in already, limped up. You're already going there, not 100%, as most, fighters, professional athletes do. When it's this severe, you got to address it immediately and get back healthy so you are as close to 100% as possible. So, yeah, it's like I said, not too far of a drop-off. I still feel like we'll get a good fight, but that's it. I just wish him the speediest recovery, and I hope that when he makes his return that, we do right in Matchroom. Eddie Hearn, all the guys, we still promote him well, and we get a lot of big fights for 2025.
Yeah, because, they slotted him perfectly in that co-main event of that Dimitri Bivol card. So it was amazing. I was excited to see him on that card, but yeah, definitely took a hit. But yeah, speedy recovery to our guy, Shakur Stevenson. By the way, Ryan Garcia is back in the news. He calls out Teofimo Lopez, says he wants to fight him in his comeback when his ban is lifted in April. Is that a fight you would want to see? Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez. Yeah. I think that could be a barn burner.
Oh, that would be a fantastic matchup. I like that. I think both are in similar spots in their career right now. And I feel like, it's not that we're holding anyone back. I feel like this is a fight that both of them need. So I would love to see that matchup. And let's just try to get all the, controversy like testing, hydration, all this stuff out of there. Let's get these guys just to fight. There's a lot of arguments coming in and like, what's with this weight cutting? Like, let's have these guys, let's weigh them where they're weighing at, and let's have them fight, where their natural weights are, just to avoid all the BS and all the controversy around it, So I see that as an opportunity for them in the future, but definitely make the fight. And if you have to, of course, do it at a certain weight class, do it, because maybe these guys can get back to a belt sometime soon.
100%, and hopefully everyone is clean. Joe, 10 seconds left. BKFC 66 back-to-back pay-per-views for the company.
Yes, sir.
Tonight, Hollywood, Florida. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm hyped, man. It's all leading up to a main event with Alberto Blas taking on Ryan Weber. And Weber, he's a really good fighter. He's undefeated in bare knuckle FC, but so is Alberto Blas. And, Alberto Blas didn't find his footing in mixed martial arts. But if you look at his record throughout his career, man, he only lost by decision. So it just seems that, he couldn't get the guy out of there. And the guy obviously shows how tough Blas is that he couldn't get out of there. Ryan Weber has lost via KO TKO in his MMA career, so that gives me pause for concern in that spot. I could see why he's the dog because Bloss has looked like an absolute destroyer in the bare knuckle circled ring. So yeah, I'm taking Alberto Bloss, the Cuban favorite here, minus 400. I do see that he gets a knockout victory, but there are no props, there are no odds for that. So just got to take a minus 400. I'm hoping to make it 5 weeks in a row. We're going a month and a week, keeping hot with 10 seconds left. And I think this is a perfect spot to do it. So give me Alberto Bloss, your champion, and still.
Let's go. Let's go for 5 weeks in a row, kid. I love
Bantamweight's
it.
baby, 135, man. Bantamweight's on full display this weekend.
Any last words before we get up out of here? Good show, kid. Enjoy college game day. Have a piece of gator for me.
Yes, sir.
What else you got?
Hey, that's pretty much it. You know, that's exactly right. College game day, fights, some pro football,
some gator.
So everything's looking up, man. It's gonna be a tremendous weekend. And let's go, Mets.
Let's go, Mets. Good luck. God bless. And we'll see you on Monday.